There is a low testosterone epidemic. It's true. Levels have been declining for decades. In fact, if you're watching this and you're a man, there's a 40% chance your testosterone levels are lower than they should be.
I'm a man, Peter. I've got an ocean of testosterone flowing through my veins.
We're going to talk about how you can raise them. Ways that have been shown to raise testosterone predictably and reliably. Let's go.
Everybody except for Doug.
Yeah.
Doug's the only person who just, every
I gotta
time
sit next to the guy over here.
Jeez, you should be catching some of that. I mean,
I wish.
It's just aura of testosterone
catching all Sal's bacteria.
And so I'm going to start with the first point, and then we'll go back and talk a little bit about this epidemic, just so people get the first point. So one of the first things you could do to raise your testosterone is to test certain key nutrients, because there are certain nutrient deficiencies that are relatively common in men that will predictably cause lower testosterone. What are they? Vitamin D, zinc, and magnesium. If you're low in any of those or all of those, you are going to have depressed testosterone levels. And the rate of deficiency that we see in vitamin D and magnesium in particular is very high. It's actually a significant minority. Some studies say a majority of people.
Are they inversely related? So is it like if you've got low one, you're probably low the other? I mean, is it almost always connected that way?
Not D, but zinc and magnesium tend to, if you have low in one, you tend to have low in the other.
And vice versa. If you have low testosterone, you probably have those low? Is that?
Maybe. So here's why this is number one, is because if it's a fast, easy fix, right? So if you're among the 50, 60% of men, some studies will say even more, who are low in vitamin D, and then you supplement with vitamin D, you will see a rise in testosterone. If you're low in zinc and your levels are low, and then you supplement with zinc and fill that deficiency, your testosterone levels will go back up. Same thing with magnesium. So it's an easy fix if this is indeed your problem. But let's back up for a second and talk about this epidemic. This is like a real thing.
Yeah.
They've been observing this now for decades.
Well, they've also come out, I mean, they've made some bold statements that if we continue down this trajectory that like men will have like no testosterone by a certain, have you seen those, haven't you? Where they
no
play,
fertility.
Yeah, they play it out to a certain year, and it's not that far away. It's in our lifetime that we will see like no.
I think it's within a couple generations.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's crazy.
That's crazy when you think about that.
Yeah. So just over the last 2 decades, we've seen an average drop of 25%. But if you go back further, this has been observed since the 80s, where you're just seeing these consistent decline in testosterone.
The problem is there's no smoking gun. There's not like one thing. It's like it seems like there's a ton of different things that are causing this.
Yes. And we're going to talk about some of the stuff that can definitely help. But there might be an environmental contributor to this, because it's really weird to see these levels continue to drop.
Yeah, real weird. I mean, especially I hesitate to bring this up, but it's the taint length study where they actually measure the taint of between balls and the butt.
Yeah.
And it's shrunk significantly over the last few decades.
Yeah.
Such a weird correlation.
It is, but
it's a real study.
related to
They think it's environmental.
Testosterone and all of the the environmental factors.
Bunch of guys right now measuring their taste.
I know. I want to know.
Measure yours. Measure your dad's.
Is this normal?
If yours is short or something going on here,
yeah,
they should be the same.
So I didn't know that was a factor, but it is.
Yeah, no. There's something going on, but again, there are ways you can reliably raise them. Now, the range of what's considered normal at testosterone is wacky. Okay, so here's what the range is. If you go to your general practitioner and get your testosterone levels checked, your total testosterone, and we're not going to talk about free testosterone. I know that's what matters, but then we're going to start getting into the weeds. So let's just talk about total. The range of what's considered quote unquote normal for total testosterone is 265, some say 300, some maybe a little higher, whatever, but generally it's about 265 to about 923 nanograms per deciliter. Now, if you're like, that's a big gap, you're right. That's 265 to 923.
Yeah, three times the amount.
Like, what's going on here? Yeah. Well, what's going on is we just see people all over the place in this, and the data will show that being kind of in the higher end is probably optimal. So you could be 300 and be considered quote unquote normal, but you're probably low testosterone.
Well, and it's also important to understand where you came from. This is why I mean, we've seen just in the last decade a ton of these testosterone clinics pop up all over the place, and because we've needed more conversations around The guy who goes in, who's 45 years old, and he tests at 325, and his general practitioner goes, "Oh, you're fine." But what he didn't know is that guy was Doug 20 years earlier, where testosterone was hovering around 1400 for most of his life, and now he's at 300 or something, and because he doesn't fall off the charts as dangerously low, all his symptoms that he's getting that are attached to low testosterone are getting ignored because they think he's fine. That's the problem.
We've come a long way. So with these clinics, these hormone replacement clinics, they look at your numbers, but they also look at your symptoms. Because it could be within that range, but you could have signs of low or symptoms of low testosterone, which are like depression, low motivation, poor sleep, low sex drive. You're just not recovering from your workouts. You're gaining body fat like you haven't before. You seem to be not able to build muscle like you could before. Those are all signs of low testosterone. So if you have those signs plus you measure and it's in the lower end, then you probably qualify for.
It's interesting that we it's like we got this wrong, not only with men but also women. This is like we just had a recent conversation with the doctor around menopause and just the testing for and the perimenopause that could be 10 years before your hormones could be off. But then again, when they look, general practitioner looks at it like, oh, you're okay, you're fine, but far from optimal, and they have all these crazy symptoms. Seems like men have something similar when it comes to testosterone and free testosterone.
Yes.
Why? Like, why those two things would we be so off on with as far as we are in science and we understand hormones?
It's changing. It's because you see different symptoms on different levels. So, like an example would be like your androgen receptor density, which we'll actually talk about, which means how many androgen receptors you have. If you have more androgen receptors, your testosterone is essentially more powerful. It's got more places to dock or attach to. So, for example, there was a study done a while ago where they compared different men who had normal, healthy levels of testosterone, but they were within a particular range. And then they looked at how they responded to strength training. And the hypothesis was that the men with higher testosterone would respond better to the strength training than the men with lower testosterone. But what they actually found was what was a stronger correlate was the androgen receptor density. So they had men with lower testosterone that responded better, but they had better androgen receptor density. So that's why it's kind of like with that hormone. Now, other hormones, it might be different, but I think you have to look at both. The most cutting edge hormone doctors and specialists now talk about symptoms along with numbers, not just looking at numbers.
It's the flip-flop, right? Now they look at symptoms first. And then it's like, and then the only reason why they might not is if it's like, okay, you have already abnormally high.
But again, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, no, I've just had this question forever because like we talk about free testosterone and like in terms of like testosterone, you're high testosterone, but it's bound. Like how does it get bound up? Like where's it binding up in?
So that's when we get into the weeds, but there's a chemical in the body called sex binding hormone globulin, I think it's called, that will attach to testosterone, making it inert essentially. It doesn't work. So free testosterone is what counts. Some nutrient deficiencies can cause that. There may be other genetic factors that do this. If you have really, really high total testosterone, the odds are you're gonna have a high level of this also to make your testosterone less effective. It's almost like a check and balances. Okay, or maybe one causes the other. It might be inverse. But again, we're going to focus on total because then it gets real.
I was just curious because that was always like, because I've heard some people that had high testosterone, but it was like not free.
Yeah. But we're going to talk about the things again that will make a dent for most people.
Yeah, number one was nutrient deficiency. It's like, and that's
because if you have that, if you have that and you supplement with it, you will bring your levels back up to a normal range.
So did you order these two in that of like what you think? Okay, so if it was a client and we're trying to get to the bottom of this, right? I'm going to have them, boom, go test those first.
That's right.
Let's go, and then let's check those. Because first of all, there's more than a 50-50 shot that you're going to be low in one of those anyways. Because
probably.
Over 60% of the population is low on magnesium.
Yeah.
And then vitamin D, I believe, is up there also.
It is.
So there's already a 50-50 shot that you're low on that. So simply supplementing that could make this difference.
And it's an easy fix.
And it's easy. It's cheap,
very
easy. You don't need to see a doctor. It's just simple. Go get it done.
That's right.
And then the next one is what?
Get good sleep. Get good sleep. So they did a study on young men. These were young men, so resilient. So But by the way, a man's natural testosterone is very reactive to his environment and his lifestyle. So it can go up and down depending on what's going on. And in 1 week of poor sleep, so they took a bunch of college-age males, athletes, so they're resilient, and they had them sleep 6 hours a night, which is not uncommon for college kids, right? 6 hours a night.
Yeah.
And they all saw a consistent drop in testosterone, about 15%. Today's program giveaway is MAPS Split. If you want to win that, leave a comment below this video in the first 24 hours that we drop it. Subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications. If you win, we'll let you know in the comment section. We also have a sale, MAPS Hit and the Extreme Fitness Bundle of Programs, both 50% off. If you're interested, go to mapsfitnessproducts.com and then use the code April50 for the discount. Back to the show.
I have a prediction for you, Sal.
Yeah.
We'd like to give these like crazy, wild fitness or health predictions, trying to catch it way before. Here's my thought. Almost everything we talk about on this damn show, some way, form or another, finds its way back to getting good sleep. Like sleep just impacted. The next big invention or thing is going to be something that allows the person who is stressed all day, did like that, and you either take a pill or you sit in a thing and it puts you right to
sleep,
right into the greatest night of sleep.
Yeah,
like
they've been trying that forever.
They've been trying, but I feel like that we can't be far off from figuring this out. You know, with all these different tools that we have out here to try and complement or help or induce.
You know what's crazy about what you're saying is that sleep is such an interesting, crazy mystery in the sense that like if evolution. Right, if you believe in evolution, if evolution could have figured out sleep, it would have. You're totally defenseless.
Yeah.
You're not gathering resources. You're not working. Every animal sleeps. So to try to hack that and figure it out, I mean, we have ways of getting you to perform better after a poor night of sleep.
Right.
But we have not figured out how to get you to sleep less and get the same effects.
I imagine like all the things, like there's got to be a way, like the things that cause, like high cortisol and that cause the restless, like having a hard time sleep. When we solve it there's this chamber that you sit in for.
It's like anti-gravity.
Something. I don't know what that looks like, or else I would have invented it, right? But that's got to be the next biggest thing in our space to like just unlock the next level of health and longevity and performance.
It would be great because this is a big deal. I mean, poor sleep is so common now.
It's connected to everything.
It is, and it's so common now because of electronics, because of our cell phones.
We'll be vampires when we figure it out.
Yeah. Say what?
We'll be vampires. Yeah, that's how they sleep.
It's such a chronic issue across the board. Kids have terrible sleep now because of tech. And it causes so many problems, and testosterone suffers dramatically. By the way, if you have sleep apnea or you snore, you could be getting 8 hours of quote unquote sleep, but you're going to have low testosterone from that because your sleep quality is bad. So it's not just how long you sleep, it's also the quality of sleep. So like you look at studies on sleep apnea and snoring, and that causes consistent low levels in testosterone as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of push for the mouth tape, and to kind of address that specifically. But I guarantee the high majority of people have apnea they don't realize.
They don't realize it. All right, next up is to lift weights. Lifting weights is one of the most predictable ways of increasing androgen receptor density. As your body builds muscle, the receptors that testosterone attaches to increase in the body reliably. This is the only form of exercise that has been shown to do this on a consistent basis. Now, all forms of exercise improve your health. The downstream effect of improving your health, if you do it right, is probably better testosterone and maybe a little bit of an androgen receptor improvement. But strength training directly does this. It's like, boom, we're going to increase androgen receptors in the body. So if you have a level of testosterone, let's say a 400, which is on the lower range of the one that I gave, let's say your total testosterone is 400, but you double your androgen receptor density, it would be like having testosterone levels that are 800.
Right.
So you've just dramatically increased the effectiveness and impact of your career. And that's just lifting. Lifting weights does this.
What does the research say as far as how minimal amount? Like what's the least amount that you need to do to reap some of these benefits? And then, okay, so two-part question. What's the least amount to reap some benefits, and where's the optimal fall?
It's probably least amount is like
once every 2 weeks?
Yeah, just to stop muscle loss.
Right.
But one strength training sessions a week will do this. 2 days a week for most people will get you really far.
That's probably actually. I'd argue if we have to keep the entire population in mind and the levels of stress, poor sleep, so that optimal is probably only 2.
That's right.
Because there's a lot of people that 3, you would think 3-4 times a week would be better for them, not necessarily be better for them because of how much stress they already have in their life. So it's probably 1 to 2 times a week, strength, full body routine.
With every client that ever trained, this was ideal. Was 2 days a week, and for most of my clients. Also, by the way, there's a couple things.
And keep this in mind also, because I know that people hear that right away. It's like this is not the most optimal for building a bodybuilder physique or becoming the best athlete. We're talking about health and longevity.
Yes, and also we're not talking about the optimal amount of movement. So you need to move every day. We're talking about strength training. Okay, so you should move every day. You should try to get 10,000 steps a day. But when it comes to strength training, 2 days a week will get you really, really far, really far. By the way, you could do a lot with 2 days a week because you can progress the workouts and change the workouts for a while. I mean, I had clients that I got incredibly strong and fit 2 days a week over the course of 3 or 4 years. So if you've been working out consistently strength training for 3 years and you've seen yourself progress, which you will, and then you want to add an extra day, go for it. But most people don't need to.
Yeah.
2 days a week is great.
Yeah.
Next, avoid those forever chemicals. Avoid those hormone disrupting xenoestrogens that are found in so many different things
everywhere.
And this is probably one of the smoking guns to the low testosterone.
You think so?
This is where all the data is pointing. All the data is starting to suggest. It's not
I feel
clear
like when you
yet.
start to look for it, it starts popping up in so many places in your house that you didn't realize. Like, I mean, I brought up Pam the other day, and it's just like the air fresheners and all the cleaning products and all of just like stuff in the bathroom that we're using. So I don't know. It seems rather harmless when you individually kind of select one of them, but it's like
they're
everything
everywhere.
in there. It's like a compilation of all of them.
I'm not arguing that, but I don't know if I buy that it's the smoking gun. Not that I don't think that it's making a difference, right? That's not my point. But I just think that the movement and sleep have to be some of the most important when it comes to that. And in the time frame you're talking about, we have seen a dramatic reduction in both of those two.
Yep. So what you're saying is what
it's accelerated.
Yeah, all the research is saying it's most likely obesity, right? So nobody's exercising like they used to. We're eating garbage and the chemicals. That's where the point is. Like that 3 combination.
And sleep.
And sleep. So poor health, right? So poor health and then the chemicals. Yeah.
That's what makes the most sense to me. And then I just feel like these chemicals are like just pouring gasoline.
But I'll tell you what. Here's how bad they are. Here's how bad they are. Like there's people. This happens. I mean, it's not rare, where you'll get a kid or an adult man go to the doctor because they have symptoms of high estrogen, like gynecomastia or other things,
in kids,
and they'll identify that it's some of the some chemicals that they're exposed to.
And don't you think too? This is also in the context of overeating. Yeah, there seems to be
excess body fat will do it.
Yes, there seems to be this like if you are taking in it. I mean, I remember this even in a like. It felt like when I was dieting really strict, like I could get away with foods and things I knew my body didn't agree with when I was low calorie. Yeah. Than if I was in a surplus, those same foods. And so I would think that even the forever chemicals have a similar situation going on. It's like they're not good for your body no matter what. Just like those foods I'm intolerant aren't good for me no matter what. But in the context of overeating and a surplus, they seem to harvest or cause way more damage.
Your speculation is on point, right? Because fat does store certain toxins. Okay, so there are certain chemicals and stuff that will get stored in body fat. Your body's ability to detox is also hampered when you're constantly feeding yourself. In a calorie deficit, you have more cell autophagy, you have faster cell turnover, and faster detox pathways. This is why fasting is often used in quote unquote detox regimens. So no, it's a combination.
Filter everything out.
Yeah, but it's like here's a huge one, a huge offender for these chemicals: candles. You know how many times I go over people's houses and they're burning candles and I smell them and right away I'm like, I know what I'm breathing in. I'm breathing in.
It gets funky sometimes.
Chemical
estrogen.
estrogens.
We got to take care of this. But yeah, it is total chemicals you're throwing out there.
100%. Candles, perfumes, scented products, deodorants, hair gels, face creams.
Speaking of that, this is so random that you brought this up, but I have to bring this up because I've been trying to there was a girl she's a listener, and I apologize for forgetting her name and her handle, but she sent me over a bunch of her and her husband make like homemade, like natural scented candles and things like that. And I have this, she made me this giant, I think I mentioned one time, a long time ago, vanilla was my smell.
Yeah.
She made me this giant vanilla one. It's never been lit, but it makes my room smell so amazing. I've been trying to track her down forever because this candle, the guys will have to come over to my house and like never being lit, just sitting in the room puts off this amazing, great smell. And it's now she made it home. It's homemade. Okay. So she hears this. You got to reach out to me because I've been trying to track her down and look up her handle. I can't remember what for the life of me. But you bringing that up right now, I'm like, I've never smelt something that wasn't full of chemicals, that wasn't a plug-in thing, that you know that actually smelled that.
Oh, those plug-in things are terrible.
Oh, they're so bad. Oh my God, I was so bad about those too. Especially when I had dogs, it bothered me so much. So I used to I was so bad.
The dog factor for sure, dude.
It was like I had to have one in every room of the house. It was bad.
But yeah, it's like plastic containers that we use all the time. It's non-stick anything, cookware, that kind of stuff. Like they're just all over the place, and you add them all up, and we're bombarded with chemicals that act like estrogen. They react with the estrogen receptor.
I really believe though, so much of it has to do with in the context of overeating. I think because we are in this perpetual state of overfed, that then you throw these things. Yeah. And I think that's what has made them look so bad.
More vulnerable,
Yeah. I think so now it's
like the perfect storm.
It is the perfect storm. And so now it's like these things are so bad. It's like, shit, those things have always been very bad for us. But, in the Great Depression, when nobody could find calories, they put no big deal.
Well,
they were breathing in fucking chemicals at factories and all kinds of shit.
To be very clear, the chemicals I'm talking about, they've ramped them up over the last few decades.
Sure.
Yeah, so like chemical exposure during the Great Depression was like asbestos and like cyanide,
gasoline.
Yeah, like you're gonna die right now. The ones we're exposed to now don't really kill you; they just slowly change.
Silent
over time.
offenders.
Yeah, dude, and then your kids get changed, and so on and so forth. Lastly, there are supplements you can take that have been shown to help raise testosterone levels if your testosterone's low. The most reliable one that I've seen in data is D-aspartic acid. So this is a form of an amino acid that you can take. It will raise luteinizing hormone, and you will see a spike in testosterone and sperm count. It will actually improve your fertility as well. Right. The next one is Tongkat Ali. That's another one that will raise low testosterone. You have Tribulus terrestris, which might not raise testosterone, but will increase libido. So if you have signs of low libido.
Is that herbal?
Herbal. Mm-hmm. And then DHEA if you're older. If you're like a man over the age of 40, DHEA in the morning will probably raise your testosterone levels later on. So those are the ones. Now, here's the downside of these. They all help. I mean, I read a study on D-aspartic acid. It raised it like 45% in 30 days. And then people went off and it stayed elevated for 60 days or something like that after. But the effects seem to wear off. I've used them all. I've had clients use them all. They seem to have like a 60-day period, and then they kind of go back to the old symptoms. You got to be pretty low
for it to feel the effects, right?
And then the studies show, like with Tongkat Ali, low testosterone responds to this. But if you're like, kind of in the middle, it's like probably not going to do anything for
That's how I felt. I remember this. Obviously, we threw the whole kitchen sink at me, right, when I was when I came off. And I do remember taking this. And I remember feeling it, like getting excited, like, oh, wow, I can notice this. But then it totally leveled off and then didn't get any better. And then it kind of started to slowly go back down the other direction. So temporarily, I think it's great, or to bridge that if you're like doing hormone replacement therapy or whatever. Like, I think that's a nice bridge, but it doesn't seem like it's the
red light on your balls.
Yeah,
that actually raises testosterone. Yeah, it stimulates the Leydig cells to.
That's honorable
mention. You're going to do everything.
You put that in there. That's an honorable mention, right?
Yeah, that's actually reliable. Yeah. That's actually a pretty reliable.
I remember when our buddy Mike did it, and he tested like before and after, and it was like he doubled. Yeah, that was impressive. Yeah, that was the big selling point for me. Like, okay, I'm a believer.
We're gonna make underwear with red light.
I know, right?
If it doesn't exist already,
it can't. It's not the real red light.
Since we're talking about forever chemicals, and this is on this is where you went today. I wanted to get some clarity around a word that we've talked about that in the fitness space seems to have been bastardized. You're on one side or the other. You're the wellness guru person who throws around like crazy, or you're the anti-wellness person who's just like, that's just a gimmicky sales word. Detoxification.
Yeah.
So let's get clear on, is it a real thing? Is just because you hear detox, is it automatically that's bullshit?
What does the lymphatic system do?
Well, so that's this is my point, is that you know, I've been guilty of these detox teas and cleanses are all a bunch of bullshit, so like that. Right. And because of that, we tend to throw everything that's related to that out, and that's not true.
No, it's a term that's been
it's been distorted,
completely distorted. So your body has really effective detoxification pathways. You know, like the liver, for example. And now, if what you can do is you can help strengthen those symptoms to help strengthen your body's ability to detoxify. I'll give you a silly example. This is a very simple but plain example. Glutathione. You could deplete your liver of glutathione through the use of, let's say, acetaminophen or alcohol or just any toxin that your liver needs to get rid of. You could have elevated liver enzymes from certain medications.
Advil actually knocks down your...
not Advil. Advil's like ibuprofen. Tylenol.
So Tylenol knocks down your glutathione?
Yeah, it'll lower your glutathione levels.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So taking glutathione or injecting glutathione in studies will show that it helps help your liver get rid of or helps your liver become more effective, because depleted glutathione means your liver's not as effective as it could be. There's also chelating compounds. Chelating compounds will combine with certain things in the body and help your body get rid of them. So that technically could be detoxifying, right? So you could have higher levels of like heavy metals, and then you could take things like
also
chlorella
what is the process? What happens when we sit in a sauna too?
Yeah, sweating. Sweating does it as well.
Yeah.
So it's just been bastardized, right? Yeah, and it's been sold as like, you know, like fat flush, like flush your body.
Yeah. I mean, it's too bad, because I mean, I was guilty of getting caught up in that too, of being like, oh, just everything that's related to that is all bullshit. And there's like, no, there's some. I remember when we had Cabral on that, hearing him say it, I'm like, oh, great. I heard him say detox. Like, you know, our whole audience is going to be like, oh, this dude's bullshit or whatever. But there's obviously tremendous value in it. So you think it's because we paired it with the fat loss, and it's like what happens always.
I know.
As soon as we pair with fat loss, it gets bastardized.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. We have a free guide titled "Understanding Your Mood, Stress, and Sleep." It tackles all of those things from a health and longevity perspective. It's a totally free guide. So just click on the link at the top of the description below. Speaking of supplements, I was actually talking to my cousins this weekend about creatine, because there's all these people now are talking about using creatine for the mental effects, for the cognitive boosting effects, because the data is showing that, you know, maybe 5 grams a day will saturate your muscles with the amount of creatine that you need, but 10 grams or more is probably needed for the brain.
It's way to the brain.
Yeah, the first study of these was, I've talked about this, where they did the study where people were sleep deprived, and one dose of 20 grams of creatine like essentially erased most of the effects of the sleep deprivation. So then they started looking at, okay, how does it improve cognitive function? How does it help with, and it does great things for the brain. So my cousins, I was talking to them about this, and my cousin Sep, you know, he's like, well, what's the safety of creatine? What about the safety profile? I'm like, that's a good question, because we know that most of the studies have used 5 grams and long-term studies. We know it's very safe at 5 grams. So I went and looked up high dose creatine studies. There was a great one that was done for almost 2 years. They took a bunch of college rugby players and had them supplement with 15 grams a day for 2 years. Totally safe. Yeah. There were no negative markers of anything.
Do you know that was the...
That's 3 times the dose that usually is recommended.
Yeah. You know, that was the big fear-mongering that was going around when it first hit the market. I remember when Celtec was popular and you had to load all that creatine. Yeah. And then there was this theory about some of the body couldn't process all of it, so the kidneys were getting piled up of like
that was a big fear.
Yeah, there was like that was what scared every mom and dad. I mean, we still get it. I get family that will we have a family thread that's typically dedicated to like supplement questions for me, right? And we'll get these. I'll get these stuff sent over to me. Sometimes I send them. I defer to you when I don't know. And but creatine still is like, is it safe? Can my son take this?
It's the most studied supplement in history, and it's been studied a lot for safety. Now the studies, granted, most of them are studying between 5 grams or so, but there's lots of data now showing that probably 10 grams is very safe. Higher than 10 grams, probably. Do we have a lot of data to support how safe it is to take 15 or 20 grams? Not much, but it's probably okay. Nonetheless, 5 to 10 grams
These
a
are
day.
all athletes that were tested in that bracket.
Yes,
so,
yes. Yeah. And they were college age males, right? So now if you have kidney disease, your nephrologist is going to tell you to probably not supplement anyway. So, but that's with kidney disease, very different from having.
Now, do they all like the Legion gummies? Are they using that? Or
that's what they were asking me about.
Yeah.
Because
they're munching on them. Like, it's all right to do like 20, 30 grams of this out.
You know what, though? So I've been taking 10 to 15 grams a day, about 10 grams a day, I would say consistently, about between 10 and 15, pretty consistently now. And I do think I notice cognitive benefits from it. But you have to split the dose up. I know you did the same mistake.
I had the
Justin.
same mistake. Yeah.
See, it doesn't bother me quite a bit.
How much did you take at once?
I had to count. I've probably done like 15 of these
at one time.
Yeah.
You don't get the poops. Oh yeah, give me the poops.
No.
It's just.
But since you said that, what I've done, I just did it right
it's
now.
Got a laxative effect.
I take like three every time. So I've got them here. I've got them at house. Got them in the car. So I have them in all these places, and so it's just like when it's been a few hours, and I haven't had any. I'll just throw like 3 in my mouth. It's become like that.
Yeah, no, I'll divide the doses by like 2 or 3 doses throughout the day. So, but I think what we're probably going to see with supplements like their gummies is people are going to be consistent. People have had such a challenge being consistent with creatine in the past because it's like sand.
It's way better.
Yeah, dude, it tastes like
in
sand.
this form. Yeah.
Speaking of studies, I got to tell you guys about the study that was circulating. I'll read you the headline and then I'll read you the study. And this is the kind of stuff that makes me super, super frustrated, and also lends some credence to the theory that there's definitely a God, how do I want to say this? Agenda. There's definitely an agenda, I think.
Do we have to put our tinfoil hats on for this?
No,
one?
Forget that.
Okay.
You know what? The tinfoil hat people are like, what are they like? They're winning.
They're just
they're
future
9 for 10.
predictors.
They're like 9 for 10.
Yeah.
Here's the
It's reality that'll be finally.
There's an
exposed
agenda
later.
for sure of certain agendas. One of them is to get people.
We're this close to the non-believer people being the tinfoil hat people. You know what I'm saying? So the next time when like a conspiracy comes up and you're like a
That's
denier,
kind of where I'm at.
If you're a denier, you're like, oh, you got your tinfoil hat on. You're a denier.
Oh, you're a
den-
propagandist.
Yeah. Hey, can we do that? Can we turn it into deniers?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a denier.
Don't
huh?
hey, don't listen to John. He's an anti-conspiracy theorist.
Yeah. What an idiot.
Yeah. Oh God. I bet he believes the moon is real. Anyway, so there's definitely an agenda against meat. For sure. I'm convinced now that there's some weird agenda. And what we've seen with media, especially with old media, is they all work together.
Say the same
That's
talking
been
points.
exposed quite a bit the last few years.
So here's the title of this article, CNN, right? CNN Health.
CNN,
Keep your red meat to these limits to protect your brain health, because red meat is terrible.
How is that?
Isn't that what grew our brains?
Yeah, let's unpack that
Isn't
because
that
that's already wrong.
Now, what percentage of people do you think read the headline and then read the study?
It's like 80% probably just read the headline.
No. It's way higher.
I bet you nobody reads the study.
It's like 1%.
What I mean, like they just read this and then they regurgitate it.
You read the headline, and so you're reading this, and it's confirming what you've been hearing anyway from this agenda, which is, oh yeah, red meat's bad. Red meat's bad. Red meat. Hey, honey, saw another study.
See? There
our
it is.
brains.
Yeah.
We got to protect our brains.
CNN, put it out.
Which, as soon as I saw the title, someone shared this with me. I'm like, oh, what kind of bull crap are they gonna? Because red meat is one of the healthiest things you can eat for your brain, which is the nutrients.
Isn't it what grew our brains? Isn't that the theory?
I mean, yes. That's how we have big brains. Is we cooked food, we cooked meat, and we ate it.
Didn't happen from plants.
So here's what the study shows: people who ate a quarter of a serving or more of things like bologna and hot dogs had a higher rate of dementia.
Bologna and hot dogs.
They really use that as an example.
Yeah, dude, red meat.
That's
junk food.
Come on, dude.
I'm going to do a study that's going to say potatoes are bad for you. And then it says about potato chips.
Yeah, it's all about potato chips.
Come on, dude. Or don't eat things that taste like strawberry. Study shows that strawberry candy is really bad for you. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So
It's hot dogs and bologna. And they're saying red meat in the title of the study. There is an agenda for sure.
Yeah.
It's super frustrating.
Yeah, that's so funny. I thought that was like losing all kinds of momentum. It's like you just see, because I mean, when the Beyond Meat and all that started to crash and like there was just no interest there anymore. It's like, and then all the vegan documentaries and all this, it's all kind of like came and went.
Yeah,
people are realizing this is not good for us.
What is going on with that? Where is Beyond Meat on their,
it's done.
stock
They're
market?
sucked.
Like,
it tanked.
I mean, but there was a conservative effort for about a year there.
We were inundated.
We're
with
just bombarded
Yeah.
with the documentaries and the commercials and the stock talk about them. And oh my god,
everybody in LA was on board, and
restaurants were popping up that were completely centered around it. Like,
Wait, why in LA?
It's just always LA.
yeah, it's
I'm like, where'd you hear LA?
It's just always the case.
I mean, I agree
Ask
with you.
everybody who lives down there, dude.
I agree with
They'll
you.
confirm it.
It probably was.
I swear, it all starts in LA.
Oh my god, look at that.
Yeah, they suck. Nobody wants their crap.
Wow.
I'm gonna eat
Eat real meat,
I'm gonna
dude.
eat something that's trying to taste like something else, but is far less healthy. Good
Yeah.
idea.
Wow.
And it's more expensive.
Just in 2020,
I want my meat to taste like broccoli.
2020, October 9th, it was peaked at $194.
Yeah.
So basically $200 a share, all the way down to $2 is $2.69 a share.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know.
Because in the process of making it taste like that, they used so many unhealthy oils and everything else
see,
to combine.
every one of those spikes represents one of them stupid documentaries that came out.
Yeah.
That's exactly what that is.
100%. Yeah.
And then
It's
all
your-
those,
it's your
then all those
avatar
people actually
producer.
learned. And then everybody started to go, oh man, this stuff does taste like shit.
Yep.
And it's not healthy.
I'll just stick with the regular
Oh
burger.
my god.
And meanwhile, we're starting to get all these like interesting like factoids about plants and how they actually have feelings and they can hear and communicate.
Yeah, you're still.
I was like, ooh, that's,
You know what's
that's
funny?
inconvenient.
Can I just say this? Just and we're gonna piss people off. It's fine. I get treating living things with respect. I think that's a good thing. I think that's an extension of goodness. But I do think that the morality with really hardcore vegans, I think it's misplaced. And here's how you know. They have a hierarchy. They act like they're all equal, but they're not, because you have like killing a fish. We're okay with fish.
Yeah.
Because it's not as cute as a.
They're ugly and they look soulless.
Yeah, it's a.
It looks soulless.
I believe there's.
all day.
There's a bit of. I'll never forget this. I had a woman that I trained, and I always respect clients, especially now. If a client said to me, "I'm going vegan for health, to improve my health," then I'll give pushback, because that's typically not the case.
Yeah.
Or I should say, not accurate. But I've had clients who say, "Look, I just don't want to eat animals. I feel like it's bad." I respect that. Totally respect that. Your actions show that you believe in what you're saying. Let's do this. But I had this woman, and we could not figure out how to get her health better. And I mean, she ate the most well-planned vegan diet ever.
Yeah.
She took supplements to try to fill nutrient deficiencies. She was working with a functional medicine practitioner. Her symptoms were terrible, like hair. She was losing her hair, weak, she just fatigued. And we couldn't figure it out. Again, so well-planned. She was very meticulous. She was really, and I remember I had this conversation with her, and I said, she was to the point where she was almost an activist, essentially. Mm-hmm. She donated to organizations. Mm-hmm. And I sat down with her and I said, how effective are you at helping anyone feeling the way you're feeling? And I said, the animal that's most important to take care of right now is you, because you are not, you can't help your family.
Yeah.
You're dependent right now.
Yep.
You're having a tough time doing anything. You can't be productive. And like, how effective of an activist are you? And a light bulb went off on her. And you know what she did? She just started eating eggs. That's where she went. We had such a dramatic turnaround in her health from doing that.
Yeah.
And then she slowly started eating certain types of meat. And it was a huge.
I've had a lot of clients that were vegan, and I only had a small percentage that were actually like activists as far as saving animals. Most of them thought it was the healthier way to eat.
That's the frustrating part.
That to me, that's the most common is that direction, or you're using it to lose weight, thinking it's a healthier direction.
But they don't stick to it. They fall off like any diet.
Sure.
Yeah. It's the ones that believe it's really a moral thing.
That was always hard as a trainer when you knew that this is not the healthiest. Diets are already hard. Everybody fails at them. So diet,
you're limiting the amount of
changing your unhealthy lifestyle to a healthy lifestyle is already really difficult. This is why I even don't like the carnivore diet. All your guys that want to argue all the facts about it and how it's good for you, it's like, that's great, and there is definitely a percentage of people. that makes sense to you. But restricting yourself,
it's like
restricting yourself to one food group for the rest of your life is just not realistic. So I get it if you have to, right? It's like the vegan activist. I get it if you're trying to save animals' lives, you got to go that extreme because that's the only way that you're going to do it, right?
Yeah.
But in the carnivores, I get it if you have a crippling autoimmune issue that you have to go that route. Otherwise, it's a terrible strategy. It's not a good diet strategy. I don't care how much you sell yourself on it because it's working for you right now.
Yeah, we've really been bumped into the extremes on all fronts, and it's so with nutrition was one of those that got, placed to where it was very extreme. It's like all meat is a bad idea. It's just not the case.
Yeah, and people are always like, well, why do they have an agenda? What's the agenda? Why are they trying to do this? I've looked into it. I don't know, but my guess is that
you can't patent the meat.
Yeah, you can patent plants. GMOs have been patented for a while, and then processed foods are patented, and animals.
I mean, look at the story of corn. I mean, look at how what we do with corn and how much stuff is derived from that, and how much money is being made, they want to do the same thing on the fake meat side. If they could do that, then they'll wrap it in health and helping people. And
speaking of which, I was just talking with someone we know. I won't say too much about who they are because it's private, but we know someone who's going to be in a lawsuit against Monsanto for their glyphosate spray. What's it called? Roundup. Because it caused cancer. Young man. Rare form of cancer caused by that. Yeah. And there was already a precedent set. Somebody already sued Monsanto for this and won. I don't remember, like $50 million or something. So
did you talk to him about that? I meant to ask you.
I did.
Oh, good. He was asking me a lot of questions, and maybe Sal's a better person to talk to about this stuff. So I'm glad you helped him out. For
crazy.
Sure. It is crazy. Real young, 30. And it's 30 when it happened. So that's
lost fertility and everything as a result of the whole thing. Really crazy. Anyway, I got a funny story to tell you guys. So had a bit of a bad dad moment in the car the other day. But it's like I'm sure you guys will feel me. So we were in the car. We were coming home from some friend's house yesterday, and I just got my car back. It just got fixed, right? So I finally got my car back.
Party.
And my kids love driving
revving it and speeding.
Yeah, they love it, right? They like the sound and all that. So I got them in the back. We're coming home, and I'm driving, and this dude like pulls up next to me in his souped up whatever. It was like his little race car, and he's revving his engine and kind of taking off. Yeah. And I'm like excited. I'm like, because my son loves me revving the engine. Yeah. So we pull up to the light, and of course we're the first people at the light. So now we're at the red light. So my wife's telling me a story while I'm thinking in my head about what I'm going to do. And so I said, hey, hold on real quick. The light turned green. We take off. And of course she's pissed off at me, right? Yeah. And my son in the back and my daughter in the back, they're cheering me on.
Let's go.
My son.
That's when you look at the wife, you're like, hey, you're outnumbered on this one.
Yay! He's like cheering. Yeah. And then I slow down or whatever, and she's like, why are you teaching him to do this? And I paused for a long time because part of me is like, I don't like to be told what to do anyway, because that's just my nature. And I, it's like exciting. The kids are having a good time, but then I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, man, I have this issue because my dad did this when I was a kid. Yeah. And I know what I did as a teenager with a driver's license. Right. And I'm like, do I want my son and my daughter to think this is okay to do? Yeah. So it's like a big wake up moment for me. Yeah. And I'm like, I got to stop.
One of those sting.
Oh yeah, dude. Because think about it, you have especially.
No, it's a valid point. He's you okay. Here's what
that's
happens.
How I got it.
As a dad, you think of what a fun moment my son and I are sharing. Yeah. He's smiling, laughing, but then I'm also creating this connection of going fast, revving engine for my kid. So then when he turns 16 and he wants his first car, he's going to want something loud and fast. And what's he going to do? So if you can actually put yourself in that dad situation when he's 16, how do you think about it?
But do you think the lack of exposure of you doing that would prevent him from doing that anyways?
I think it would help.
I did it anyways. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I've thought about that same thing, and it was kind of like, cringe, but at the same time, I'm like, so I've been trying to just do little bursts. So it's like, okay, there's an opening here. You know, I'm going to on-ramp. I'm getting onto the freeway. There's no cars. Like, if the environment looks like it's like a safe enough way to do this, or it's uphill, you know, I tend to like do it more when I'm going uphill. But again, this is like very, you know, nuanced way to handle it. And I'm lying to myself. But at the same time, like, they like going fast, and so
of course they do.
If you can kind of sort of guide them in terms of like how to do that in a safe way.
The gymnastics you're doing right now.
I'm gonna defend you, Justin.
I do the same thing.
I'm gonna defend you.
Oh, here we go.
I defended Sal a little bit at first, but I'll defend you a little bit here, because there's also this idea that we're gonna bubble wrap these kids any more than they're already, and a little risk and a little danger might not be a horrible thing.
Dude, do you really think your kids think you're Ned Flanders?
No.
Okay,
hold on.
So what, you're going to create an unrealistic version of yourself to portray yourself that way? That's where I'm at, dude. I'm not going to like pretend.
Yeah,
so what are you going to do? You're going to tell
Listen.
your son, hey, when you have sex, you know, wear a condom 9 out of 10
Listen,
times.
okay.
That one time,
yesterday we were in Max's new room, right? We're in his new room yesterday, and one of the first things I taught him is how to run off his bed and launch into the beanbag.
Different.
I mean, is it?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
teaching him something that he could get hurt, that's dangerous. It's okay. The level, yes. Come on.
This is the funniest conversation ever.
Because
there's a part of me. There's a part of me that's.
I struggle with this too, Sal. So it's like I'm trying
one of the number one causes
figure out those moments
of death for teenage drivers, especially males, is accidents.
Yeah,
it's a top cause of death. And let me hold on a second. Okay, I'll be honest real quick. The shit that we did when we were teenagers. Imagine if your son.
Yeah, but I'm with Justin. My dad did. I don't have any memories of a dad in a car.
My dad never got on
I have zero. And let me tell you, I did some crazy shit in a car.
But I knew he was into
real
it.
Crazy
and
shit.
I knew we'd go to drag races and we would talk about it and all this stuff. And I'm like, dude. And so I was just out on a limb. Experimenting on my own.
That's how I was.
I just don't want to be. I don't want to encourage it. But my dad encouraged it when I was a kid. My dad.
Your dad is.
I told you guys a story.
Your dad's the first person that's been in my car where I've like got on it. And he's just like, your dad did one of these. Like everybody else, it scares the shit out of him when I step on it. Sal's dad was like this, like. Oh, he looked up. Oh, that beautiful sound.
Yeah,
he was. Everybody else is like this.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I told you when he was. My brother and him went on a long drive once in their own separate cars, and they raced on the way home. My brother was 18, maybe 17.
Yeah,
and they both got tickets. Racing, and the cop was like, "You're racing your son," and they come in the house, and my brother shows my mom his ticket. My mom starts yelling at him, and he goes, "I was racing Papa." And so he got in big trouble.
That's another level. That's great
because he was doing the same thing.
But here's the. I mean, what an awesome story. What an awesome.
Yeah, thank God. It turned
I know.
I mean, it was okay. I know. Dude.
I don't know. I just we are. We do tend to like overprotect these kids. I think I do too much of that. That's I'm trying to be better with that with my son. My son is timid and already like he's like your son, where go down backwards on the stairs when he was little. Like he didn't fall. Like. So I actually am like encouraging a little risk in his life. That's why I was the dad who's teaching him, jump off the bed. Come on, watch you launch.
I got a wife that calms me down too, because it is like that. Like, I need a balance.
I think the key though is like I'm never gonna let my kid own a fast car until he's much older. That's like a stupid. You ever see that when dads buy their kids?
I would
like
never. Never.
I had a buddy whose dad bought him a fast car, his first car, and then he wrecked it.
My son will get like a 4-cylinder or something, dude.
That's what we drove.
Get one of the brand new Mustangs and just like spun into a ditch.
Yeah. I mean, it's a real. I like the conversation because I think about it a lot. I really do. I think it's and I get your point. I obviously get Jessica's point because that's Katrina who's yelling at me. You know what I'm saying? Same type of stuff. And I wrestle with, it's probably not the best thing to teach my kid this and that. But then I also want my kid to take risk in life. I guess certain ones they probably should or shouldn't. But it's like I almost feel like as a society we've overcorrected in that direction so much that there's an argument to be made on Justin's side of like, hey, you know what?
Well, again, we talked about this off air, and I don't even think we really talked about it, like how we don't even notice kids with like casts anymore.
That's true.
Yeah, like, there's just no like
kids don't break limbs anymore.
They don't break bones. They don't like get road rash.
Well, think about it.
There was always a
we made
curing
all
class.
the playground. We made all the monkey bars only 4 foot high. We made all the ground now either sand or now even the foam. I got that foam or soft rubber.
which
tan
is
bars.
causing more injuries, ironically.
So
Is it?
Yeah, go
Why?
look at the studies.
Oh,
yeah,
you're kidding me.
yeah, I'm serious.
Have you guys ever seen playgrounds from the 50s?
yes,
Yeah.
they look fake. The average kid
You get
today, if
burned
you saw
from
that,
the heat.
doesn't believe it.
No, the monkey bars are like as tall as a
Bro,
ceiling.
they're so tall. They're
It
so
rusts
tall.
out and then it slices you. I sliced my toe almost off.
Oh, because the metal.
Because I went down a slide and it caught my toe.
I mean, to me, that's a very good comparison to the risk at what you're taking by doing that request. I mean, we all agreed 50 years ago that's what it was for your kid. Like now, a parent would go like, "No way in hell!"
I know.
Like my wife would never let Max climb something like that. Yet every parent did. Every parent did.
Yeah, I broke my arm in the monkey bars, the high one. Like my dad was playing softball and I just fell right on my arm. Broke it. That was the same year I broke it twice in 1 year. And it's like, dude, I like
Same arm?
Same arm. Oh, I was ambidextrous for a while, dude. It was pretty great.
Because of that, it's not a bad thing.
That's
man.
crazy.
But
I got a study on probiotics for you guys. Another study supporting their use for strength, for muscle strength. There's one for
is
older
there a
adults.
reason that you brought up a couple now in this direction? Is that purely because you've been yourself researching that direction, or does it seem like there's more and more stuff coming out related?
It's actually becoming established that the use of probiotics will improve muscle strength.
Way to go, Seed.
Yeah, and I'm doing so. The reason why I'm researching it is
So
because
if you have a healthy gut, that helps allow you to produce more of a central nervous system response. Is there some relationship
I would think
there?
it's recovery and adaptation.
there's a
and
connection
building
to
muscle,
more
right?
lean body mass
Yeah,
too.
building
It's
muscle.
not just the CNS; it's also
Okay.
muscle. And they're not. By the way, this
we know this. Even you've talked about this anecdotally. You've always talked about, man, when I get my gut right, I can put 5-10 more pounds of muscle.
Well, so here's what the studies though. They're not taking people with poor gut health.
oh,
They're not taking people with IBS and giving them a probiotic. These are normal, healthy people. Who aren't
interesting.
and they're giving probiotics.
well,
and they're
that's
getting
even
strong.
more interesting.
That's right.
That's even more interesting.
right. It's
So you've
actually-
got people that necessarily don't have big issues like you. Yours is obvious, right?
Yes.
All of a sudden you're digesting, absorbing better
That's
by
right.
doing that. But you're saying people that were already fine don't have any problems, and then they're taking it and they're still seeing positive.
And I'm researching this
Interesting.
because our partner Seed, right? They're a probiotic company. Really like them. They're one of the best ones.
They are the best.
And
in
I'm
the
and
business.
I'm constantly looking up studies on the because probiotic benefits now are like it's one of the things that has it's one of the supplements you can take that has just far-ranging benefits from mental health to skin health. Of course, everybody knows digestion, athletic performance. It's actually becoming. The studies are showing it to be a better athletic performance enhancer than most supplements. Trip off that.
Yeah.
Trip off that.
Wouldn't have
Probiotic
thought.
is
That's
better than your, muscle building
Well,
amino acid.
Definitely
blend
not
or
marketed
whatever.
that way.
Not
yeah.
in healthy people is what's really interesting to
Yes.
me, because it was obvious to me that why you would, when you're with your unhealthy or with your gut issues, to take that just
right.
makes logical sense that all systems will be operating better, therefore that would operate better. But for somebody who's not having issues to be able to take that and then still see benefits, it seems that there's something else going on there than just that. So that's really cool. That's really cool.
ZBiotics is a pre-alcohol drink that you drink before you drink. It's a genetically modified probiotic that breaks down acetaldehyde. What is that? It's one of the negative byproducts of alcohol consumption. So when I take ZBiotics and then I drink with my friends, I feel way better the next day. It's real. It works. Check them out. Go to zbiotics.com. That's zbiotics.com/mindpump25. Use the code mindpump25 and get a discount. Back to the show. This segment of the podcast is brought to you by Mind Pump Fitness Coaching. This is the #1 course that teaches trainers and coaches how to build sustainable 6-figure plus businesses and careers in fitness. Look, it's roundtable based, so you can hear Adam, Justin, and myself teaching you how to build a better business, get more leads, close more deals, close bigger deals, and be more effective trainers. By the way, our course is nationally recognized. In fact, it gives you 1.9 CEUs with or for your NASM certification. Find out more at mindpumpfitnesscoaching.com.
Our first caller is Sarah from Michigan.
Hi, Sarah. How can we help you?
How you doing, Sarah?
Morning.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on. I'm really excited to chat with you guys. But thank you for all that you do. I found your podcast in the last year and I've learned so much. Just really appreciate the way you guys synthesize what can be really complex information for those who are not professionals in the field and make it easier to understand and comprehend. So a bit of background, I'm 35 years old. I have been into health and fitness for about the last like 10 to 12-ish years. It started when I worked at Lifetime in college. Fast forward to the last 5 years, so during COVID, I did not have any home gym equipment, so I reverted to cardio only. I did this 7 days a week, never missed a day, and I was counting calories about like 1,500 a day, which I know is not ideal. In the last 1 to 2 years, I was missing strength training, so I got back into it. More so doing like random workouts here and there, but I do feel like I know what I'm doing in the gym, so I could put together a workout. It was more so just not overly structured, like a leg day, a upper body day, and so on and so forth. But in the last year, I became more consistent, which is when I found you guys, and then soon after bought MAPS Anabolic, which I did at the end of last year, and I absolutely loved it. Nutrition-wise, I stopped tracking my calories in the last couple of months just because I have been diligently doing so for years and I know what I'm eating. I think I was just kind of getting into my head a little bit more than anything. Like if I saw on my tracker, I didn't have much more that I quote unquote should be eating, but I was hungry. Like it was just in my head. So I'm probably now eating around 2,000 calories a day. What prompted me to write in was that I compared a photo of myself to 3 years ago, and I honestly didn't see that much of a change. And I was kind of surprised because as compared to 3 years ago, like I said, I got back into strength training, definitely upped my protein. So since I did track all that years ago, I can see where my protein was at, which was probably honestly a third of where it should have been. And I'm eating more calories and strength training. So just my question is, if I was your client, how would you guys direct me? Would you say I just need to be consistent and keep doing what I'm doing? Or do you think it's more of a change up in nutrition?
I would shake the shit out of you.
Wait,
That's
hold on.
I
I got a question.
Shake the shit out of you. I'm looking at your photo right now.
Wait. I got a question for you. This might actually help a lot. Do you wear glasses?
Are you not?
I do not.
I know what your problem is. Your problem is you have a distorted view of yourself. And you look very different. I can clearly see you built more muscle.
Huge difference.
Let me ask you a question. Are you stronger than you were 3 years ago?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you mean you would say so? It's either yes or no.
Yeah,
Are your weights heavier?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm saying that because I don't know that I diligently tracked the weights that I was lifting, but for what I was doing, yes, they were going up, and yes, I was feeling a bit stronger.
Okay. Well, when you started MAPS Anabolic, did you get stronger during the program?
Yes.
Yeah. You're okay. You built muscle.
Yep.
You're stronger. You look
muscle.
different. Definitely glad you stopped tracking. I would also recommend you stop studying yourself in the mirror because there's a bit of a distorted image going on here. You're going in the right direction. I mean, you didn't have to say anything. If I just looked at this picture, I could look on the right and be like, oh yeah, more muscle, healthier, hormones look better. You're doing better. You're doing much better.
You look incredible, and you've made way more of a change than you think you have. And you know, if when I have clients like this, that we have this bit of a disconnect with our own body image. This is a great time where I would love to see like a DEXA scan of you in 2022 versus 2025, because just look at your physique. I guarantee you have less body fat, you have more muscle. Your hormones are probably better if you did a blood panel. You're stronger. And on all cases, even just looking from what we're looking at right now, I bet you would have seen.
You even have superior lighting in the 3 year ago photo.
Yeah.
You don't even have the same lighting. If you had the same lighting, it would have been even more obvious.
No.
Continue to eat more food.
Yeah.
Keep lifting weights and stop overtraining, because I can guarantee you. So let me ask you this. I already know the answer, just based off your background. You're following MAPS Anabolic. What else are you doing?
So I did MAPS Anabolic the end of last year, and then I was going to just start it up again. I'm not currently doing it right now. Otherwise, I love walking, so I get my steps in every day, and yoga. That's what I would do on the days I'm not strength training. Sometimes I do like a once a week 3-mile run.
Oh, you're good.
That's great.
Oh, you're good.
That's great.
Keep bumping your calories. You're going to build. You're going to continue to get great curve, great muscle, great sculpt. Your body fat percentage is in a great place.
I would love to give you muscle mommy, and then I want to put you in the forum so anytime you have this feeling, I can just virtually shake the shit out of you. So I'll have Doug put you in the private forum. I'll have him send you muscle mommy. And then when you're feeling like you're not making progress, you can just dip in that forum and then talk to us, and then we'll talk some sense into you again. Because I think what your protocol you're doing is absolutely perfect. Like running occasionally just to keep that endurance up every once in a while, walking mostly, following a 3-day a week. You've increased 1,500 to 2,000 calories. Yeah, Sal said I would bump another 200 to 250 calories and keep heading down that path and see how high can we get these calories and still maintain the physique that you have going on, and you're just going to continue to build muscle. And if you have, when you think about your goals, like what is it? A physique you're looking for? Is it a feeling you're looking for? What is it that you want? What do you desire most from lifting weights and training?
Yeah, it's more the physique I'm looking for. Okay. I think that's where I get stuck on, like comparing the photos and just wanting to look more so like I work out as much as I do.
Sarah, if you want to do photos, don't do them more than 30 days. Don't do them any less than 30 days apart, but you got to make them identical. So same lighting, same clothing, and then don't just do a front photo, go front, side, and back, because then you can see the development. You'll see the difference in your glutes, your hamstrings, your posture, but you got to make them as identical as possible. Otherwise, it's going to be more difficult for you to see the differences.
And even though I think you made incredible results in your time, if you wanted more, what you could have done was actually increase calories more. The reason why to you the results don't seem as dramatic as they are to you, and you could have potentially done more, is just simply if you would have given your body more calories, you would have built more muscle, which would have given you more curve, more shape. And it's just getting out of that fear of, oh my God, am I putting body fat on? And so if you can stay away from that fear, and that's why I want to put you in the forum so we can kind of continue talking you off the ledge that you're doing good, keep going. Because that's what will give you more. If you want more of a physique and you have this idea of a shape that you want more of, more calories is necessary. You can't, I don't care how great your training program is, if you don't feed the body enough calories, protein, nutrients in order to build the muscle, you'll just do a good job of maintaining. So like you could easily maintain the body you have by just kind of doing what you're doing. You'll look great, you'll look healthy, you're incredible. But if you want more shape, more curve, more muscle, then you got to increase those calories. That is going to be the ticket to see that. And don't be afraid, even if you put a little bit of body fat on, you can always come back the other way. So don't be afraid to push the calories a little bit. I mean, if I was coaching you, this is what we'd be talking about. I'd just be like, all right, Sarah, we're going to bump the calories. I don't care about your scale going up 1 or 2 pounds. Trust the process. I got you. We can always come back the other way, but it's necessary. If we want to build this physique you want, I need the material to do it. I need those calories. Yep. Let's go build it. And then we get to a point where if you get unhappy, then I'll just say, okay, let's reverse. Let's go back the other way. I'll lean you out and you'll be happy with what you see. So trust the process. You're doing the right stuff as far as your programming. Just got to bump those calories and be consistent.
Yep. And focus on getting stronger. That's going to be an easier metric for you to follow because it's objective. The mirror might be tough for you. So are you getting stronger? If you are, you're moving in the right direction.
Okay. That's super helpful. And then just one quick question for the calories, would you suggest just kind of jumping up to the 2,200 since it's not that big of a difference, or would you do like 100 and then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, especially since we're going to transition you into Muscle Mommy. So a new program, a novel stimulus. It has a little bit more volume than anabolic does. Perfect time to right away start to ramp those calories. And do at least 200 to 250, because what might happen is you might bump and you might not see anything move on the scale. You might get leaner. And so if you do that, that's your sign to go again. So if you're able to add 200 to 250 calories and not see any bump on the scale go up at all, then go ahead and give it another 100 calories or more from that and just continue to. And then again, if you have questions as you're going through this, just tag us in the forum. If you have a question about the diet or what's going on, just shoot us a message. Let us know what you're doing and what question you have, and then we'll continue to help you through this process.
Okay, awesome. That's super helpful. I appreciate your input. Right. I thought maybe it would go towards a calorie route, but I wanted to make sure to hear it from you guys.
No, good job.
Your gut was right. You're doing great.
Good job, and get your eyes checked.
Okay, I'll do that too. Thank you guys so much. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye.
I'm so glad we have pictures that we can post.
I know.
Because when she said, I didn't see any change. I looked at the picture. I'm like, wow.
How wild is that? That there's
happens all the time.
I know. This is like the. So
that's why you have to have people take side to side, front. You know what I used to do with my clients? I don't look that different, and then I would.
I'd break down.
Place one over it, and on top of the other.
I would take her through an entire body. And go, see your shoulder right here. Look at this. Look at where.
Isn't that weird though?
Yeah, I know.
Isn't that amazing? Weird. We just don't see it.
But it's. I mean, talk about how. And thank God she was patient. She trusted. She stayed in it this long. But what happens a lot of times is people go 3 months, whatever.
Here's the other thing too.
They course correct.
And the other thing is that she's so focused on what the mirror shows, which you can already see. She didn't see what the mirror was actually showing, and she ignored all the other signs that she's moving in the right direction.
She's
strength,
probably looking
energy.
Every day.
Yeah, dude.
You know, you look every day. You're not gonna see that progression.
And there is some truth to like, could she have seen more results? Yeah, I mean, I mean, in that amount of time, I could have built more muscle on her for sure.
The calories are too low.
But the calories are too low. Yeah, so what she did with the calories she gave her body is incredible. I mean, for you to only bump 500 calories and still put together a shape like that is incredible. Had we gone more aggressive on the calories, she could have built more.
Our next caller is Andrew from California.
What's up, Andrew?
What's happening?
How you doing, man?
Hey, gentlemen, you are real. All right.
yeah, we're not AI. Yeah, not yet.
No, 100% human made, right?
That's right.
What's going on?
Hey, real quick. So I've been listening for a long time, and the evolution of the podcast has been pretty impressive. So wanted to give a shout out to all the spouses and the staff there who, excuse me, who would encourage and support you guys, allowing you guys to do your best because you guys truly are changing lives. So appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrew.
So let me just jump into my question here. I'll read it here real quick. So, excuse me, 45-year-old former college athlete. Since my playing days, I've been consistently inconsistent in the gym and been lifting around 25 years or so. I tried every workout program and fitness trend that's come along over the years with mediocre results at best. So finally found you guys, got the best results I've ever had using MAPS Anabolic. Sorry, excuse me. At the point in life now where genetics, injuries, surgeries are catching up to me. Had multiple knee surgeries, finding it more and more painful to work out, specifically deads and the back squats. So I think my biggest frustration is just kind of like analysis paralysis at this point. So my question is, what are your recommendations, best alternatives for those lifts, best way to program them into the MAPS programs? And then specifically, how can I program in the sled so that I can train pain-free as much as possible?
Yeah, great question.
Yep.
Yeah, very good. One of the challenges with high-level athletes or people who are middle-aged but then used to be high-level athletes, I've trained a lot of people like you, is what tends to happen is you have a bit of a skewed, and it's hard to get rid of. It's like this skewed idea of proper intensity. So the first thing I'll tell you is always kind of check your intensity. Make sure you train at most of the time you're training at about 70%. Okay.
Yeah.
Which your 70%, your idea of 70% is probably a 90% for most people. So just keep that in mind. A good substitute.
I still identify as a 25-year-old.
As we all do.
I mean, you just trained your mind. You know,
Reality's a
you
bitch.
probably trained your ass off at a high level. So, box squats are a great way to do back squats. Yeah, it stops that change in direction at the bottom of a squat that can cause problems. So back squats, great alternative. Stand efforting really made that point years ago for us. I do them all the time. It's so much easier. Doesn't require nearly as much mobility and control.
Unilateral work for him too.
Unilateral work is great. The sled, anytime you do a leg day and you're not really feeling the mobility to do certain exercises, you could do the sled instead. And then deadlifts, a trap bar it's a much easier, requires far less mobility, especially for the lumbar spine, or should I say stability for the lumbar spine. So a trap bar is a great alternative for deadlifts.
I'd love to give you MAPS
because I've done trap bar, and the biggest thing, like, it's just knee pain, right? Anything just loaded. Like, I didn't get super strong, but like I was pulling sumo for a while. I got to like 400, and then box squats I got up to, I think 300, but anymore, even those alternatives, they just hurt.
Yeah.
Like physical pain. So
yeah, I
love Symmetry.
Yeah, Symmetry is a great program.
Symmetry is
like
what
that.
I'd put you on,
Get into
Andrew.
split stance,
Okay.
get into
Yeah.
Bulgarian squats. Like it's going to do so much more for your stability and strength.
And slow. And so when you get, because you're a strong guy, you've got a lot of strength, obviously. Slow the rep down and don't add weight. Make it feel harder without adding resistance to the bar, and that'll probably serve you a lot better.
Here's the reality of like, okay, so, and I've been through this whole process of like athlete and like what's in my mind, what I'm capable of doing, and versus like what reality has set in. It's really about now taking your body through a lot of movement patterns. And doing that with less intensity. And so that's why I emphasize mobility so much, is because we're not experiencing those movements anymore. You had a lot of exposure to that back when you're playing and you're on the field, or you're like, you had less responsibilities. You had a lot more open time to do all these movements, and articulate your joints and express all of that. You don't do that anymore. You do a few things for a short window of like an hour. And you're trying to cram it all in and pack it all in there. So you got to give your body some grace and really just, take a lot of time moving and twisting and moving laterally and doing all of these things that you used to do to express that complements this strength, this power, all that stuff. So, because if we're just working on the strength aspect, now we don't have the support system intact, and you're going to feel the pain. You feel the knee pain, you feel the hip pain. All of this comes to culminate. So to really kind of like backtrack and allow yourself to really build back up that volume of movement, I think it's important.
Okay. Incredible advice. If you were my client, it would be MAP Symmetry right now, with the emphasis that Sal's saying, slow down the tempo, focus on that. Don't do more load, just slow it down. Maybe a pause, do some isometrics within the movement or whatever. I think and then the next program after that is MAPS Performance. Mm-hmm. And the way I'm communicating it to you is that I really don't give a shit if you add another 50 pounds on there. I want you to perfect the movement. I want you to be obsessed with mirroring what the model is doing and making it look beautiful. And so that's the goal. It's like when you go into it, it's like, how perfect can I make the movement? Versus, how much stronger can I get? I know you hear us all give that advice a lot. It's like, just focus on getting stronger. Just focus on getting stronger. A guy like you doesn't need to hear that. Like a client like you already has that switch. I'm having to pull that back a little bit on you, but like, this is where I'm going, Andrew, I don't really give a shit if you add more weight right now. I want that movement to look perfect. I want you to feel balanced. I want to slow the tempo. And that's kind of how I'm communicating your workouts. And then when the time comes, we can turn up the intensity a little bit, but that's how I'm coaching you. Is we're going to go symmetry, and then after that, we're going to be performance, and we're going to be obsessed with the movement. And it addresses kind of what Justin's talking about.
Andrew, you could also, before bed, static stretching is really good for stiffness and pain. Mm-hmm. Okay. So static stretching. So if you have knee pain, static stretching of the quads, static stretching of the hips. Do about 10 minutes, 15 minutes before bed every night. That has a pretty big impact on just inflammation and pain in general for guys like you. But when it comes to strength is amazing. But at some point, you start to get diminishing returns. Yeah. The risk starts to the risk versus reward ratio starts to become not advantageous. So if you're squatting 300 pounds, you're pulling 400 pounds.
Yeah, you're still strong.
Yeah, if I add 50 pounds, you'll get some benefit, but the risk that comes with that, it's not worth it. You're better off going lighter and slower and focusing on mobility. You'll get way more return.
Okay. And then like real quick, specifically, like I want to have a sled day, like go push for 10 minutes, go push for 50 feet, forward, backward.
I would replace any sort of leg exercise. So this is kind of how I would do it. Is like we would be going through the program I told you, and then let's say you come in to see me for our session, and we're on the second day of MAP Symmetry or whatever. And you're like, man, Adam, the last time we trained legs, my knees are still feeling it. My hips are still feeling it. I'm like, hey, well, you know what? We're not going to do those squats or lunges today. We're going to push the sled. So use it as a way to pull back a little bit on the intensity, but still get a good workout, because the sled's an incredible workout, but it doesn't do as much damage to the body. So insert it because the truth is it's inevitable, especially an ex-athlete like you. You're going to overreach. You're going to have a day where your body just isn't feeling it, and whatever leg exercise is called for that day in the program, get rid of it and do a sled. That's how I would implement the sled.
And there's by the way, with the sled, if you do it a lot, just do it at a real moderate, low intensity. And there's a couple ways to do it. You could push it. You could also pull it. You could attach a strap around your waist. Which is great for your knees,
by the way.
Great for your knees.
You can pull it laterally too, so don't discount that. It's a huge factor. Go lighter with that, obviously, but you're going to get a lot of stability strength work there that you're not getting throughout your day.
Yeah, we have videos on our channel of the different variations of sled. So push, pull, lateral, like that's a full leg workout right there.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Hey, Andrew, are you? We're going to send over Symmetry, but are you in our private forum?
No, I'm still old school. I'm a anti-social social guy.
All right. Good for
you.
No,
like YouTube's about it. I watch the shorts and your stories, your journey on YouTube. That's about it.
Okay. Cool. Well, just communicate with us if you have more questions. The only reason why I was asking is like, you know what you could do too is that when you're having this aches or pains, if you do a video so we can see your movement, sometimes there's something that we can peer into that we may not be seeing right now or hearing right now. So that's one way to use it. But if you just reach back out to us, let us know how you're going through the program. I think Symmetry is going to do wonders for you. And then the sled is going to be anytime your legs just aren't feeling like it, then replace the leg workout with your sled.
All right, cool. Appreciate it.
You got it.
All right, Andrew.
Thank you.
Right on, fellas.
Take it easy. Sled is super underrated as a tool. It's probably, I hate to use this term because it's so bastardized, but probably the most functional single tool when it comes to lower body, just overall strength, mobility, and function. Because when you're driving the sled, you're pushing off on your toes. Concentric. You're extending your ankles. Your knees are involved. Your hips are involved. Your upper body has to stabilize. Like you don't need a lot of skill to do it, so the risk of injury is really low.
I would program it way more often if it was more accessible, and it's like one of those things you have to kind of become an evangelist and really like try to plug it into everybody's mind, the value of it, and get it in gyms. But yeah, it's such a valuable piece of equipment in terms of risk reward and volume and strength. So
I get asked a lot about the exact programming of it, and there's a lot of different ways. There's a lot of ways to skin a cat, right? So it's not like this is the one way only to do this, whatever. I just find it'll work its way in there. I've never met somebody, especially an ex-college athlete, who doesn't overreach sometimes or doesn't come in and complain about knees or back or something bothering them. And it's like, to me, like that's just that's a perfect go-to. It's like, hey, today's my day. I'm supposed to be training squats or doing the thing, but oh man, I'm just feeling stiff. My knees, my hips. Like, dude, let's go do sled work. It's like instead of like trying to like say, oh, sled days are on this day, and it goes. It's like let it organically. Yeah, it's gonna happen. You're gonna have a day when you overreach training your legs, or your knees don't feel good, or your hips don't feel good. What a great day for the sled.
Our next caller is William from Ohio.
What's up, William?
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Thanks for taking my question. So I guess I'm looking for some advice on what to change about diet and training after starting TRT, or if it needs to change at all. I'm 36 years old, 6'6", 300 pounds. I had my testosterone tested a few years back, and it was about 200. We still wanted to have children, so decided to hold off on TRT for a while. Now I have a 2-year-old boy and another one on the way, due in October.
All right.
And actually, as a side note, we tried for the second one for about 8 or 9 months with no luck. And about 2 months into making some lifestyle changes and strength training and eating better, we got pregnant again. That's awesome. So I know that's not a coincidence, and we're excited about the next one on the way.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
Oh, thanks. So I've been working on making the small incremental changes that you guys talk about all the time. I started strength training. Dramatically increased my protein and fiber. Not always hitting it every day, but a lot better than I used to be. Started taking creatine, doubled my daily step count from 4,000 steps a day to an average of 8,000 steps a day. And sleep is really good right now, although that's probably going to change in about 6 months when the new one arrives. I'm not tracking any calories, just eating intuitively, making better food choices, eating more whole foods, meat and vegetables, potatoes, rice, that type of stuff. I've seen good progress so far, definitely getting stronger, adding weight to the bar every week, pretty much. I've actually lost about 6 or 7 pounds, not really trying to cut any calories or anything yet. So I'm really happy with where I'm going. I got my testosterone retested a couple weeks ago, and it was 300 now, so up a little bit from what it used to be, but still low for my age. So I have an appointment soon to start TRT. So I guess just looking for advice on do I keep going with what I'm doing? When do I start a fat loss phase? How do I know when to switch?
I wouldn't
maybe looking for some advice on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that yet. I think you actually are in a really good place, heading the right direction. If I gave you if I was like, what's the one thing or what's the biggest thing I can do right now without throwing the whole kitchen sink at you? It's like, you said it already too. Like, you're pretty consistent, but you're not all the way there as far as hit your protein intake every day. Like, make that a non-negotiable, because that paired with the TRT and what you're already doing, you're going to build muscle. And if there's anything that will slow down you building the muscle, is you missing protein days, is inconsistency with that. So I wouldn't even get you worried about calories yet, worried about cutting yet. It's already hearing what you're doing. Like, you got a great program, what you're doing, what you're following, the steps, everything you're doing is good, real good. Even like your intuitive eating is great. The one thing I would just say, okay, if we want to turn it up a notch and really get the biggest bang for our buck in this TRT, let's just track protein. Let's just agree you ain't missing, your 240 grams of protein every day, and just be consistent as shit with that. That paired with TRT and what you're already doing, I think you're going to see a beautiful exchange of building muscle and losing body fat.
You're already cutting. You lost weight already, and all you did was go to whole natural foods. I think you're going to continue to get leaner doing that.
Yep.
And then when you add your testosterone and get your testosterone levels up, you're going to build more muscle and burn more body fat from that as well. So I wouldn't do anything really different. Adam said it. Just be more consistent with your protein. Did you say you're following one of our programs?
I'm not. I have Prime and Prime Pro, and I have that paralysis by analysis. So I've been debating like anabolic or 15 for a while, trying to decide which one to start. I've kind of experimented on my own with that. Kind of did a little bit of a 3-day week full body. Then I did a little bit of like a 2 exercise per day type thing.
What'd you like better personally? What did you enjoy better?
I think I like the 3-day a week better, but I also know that when you miss a day, you've missed your whole workout.
Okay. So I'm going to send you MAPS Anabolic. After you have your baby, do MAPS 15.
Yep.
Okay. And there's so much more that goes into programming with workouts than, full body 3 days a week, 2 exercise a day type of deal. There's a lot that goes into it. So you're going to notice a big difference from doing it yourself versus following what we wrote. You're going to see a big difference.
You following anabolic and not missing protein and being on TRT, you're going to
before and after.
You're going to be incredible.
Like a before and after.
Yes, just do that.
And then MAPS 15 when you have the baby. Don't get crazy with anything else, because you know what that's like. You already have a kid. So you got a year ahead of bad sleep.
That's a perfect time to go to 15.
Yeah,
it's perfect right now. Take advantage of anabolic. When that kid comes and the sleep's going, go to 15. It's
Best
perfect
option.
All right. Awesome.
Yeah. I would love to hear back from you too. I think it's going to be. I think you're going to have a cool before and after, dude. So I'd love to hear back from you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. Well,
thanks for calling in, man.
Yep. Congrats again.
Thanks so much.
You got it. Yeah, it's funny. He's like
doing a great job.
Yeah, I'm just eating intuitively and not really paying attention. And should I cut? I lost 7 pounds. You're already cutting.
Yeah.
It's happening.
Surprise.
Look, we've said this so many times. If people just eliminated processed foods, ate till they were satisfied, and hit protein,
that moves the needle a lot.
I mean, most men would fall probably somewhere within 3% of 15% body fat up or down, and women would fall right around 22% for the most part, within 3% up or down. You just fall there. It happens over time.
I mean, I love hearing a story like that. Like, he really is just taking some of the simple, which is also, by the way, like, I just wanted to give him something simple, right? Like, no, you're already doing such a good job. If we're going to turn the knob just a little bit more, you said it already that you're
just
not
another notch.
You're not consistent with it. Be consistent with it. You be consistent with just protein alone.
That's it.
Paired with everything else you're doing, you're going to see great results.
Our next caller is Jason from Texas.
What's up, Jason?
What's going on, Jay?
What's happening?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
How are you?
Well, number one, guys, appreciate you guys just fielding my question and having me on, man. It's an honor to be able to talk to you guys. I really respect what you guys do and bring to the table in this industry, and I love your speaking about just your life, your faith, just the variety of things that you do. Appreciate you having me on.
Thanks, you, man.
How can we help you?
Well, I guess the gist of my question kind of comes down to essentially the idea of progressive overload. I've been strength training for probably 30 years of my life. Like a lot of people, I've gone through, different seasons of my life. I went through an unhealthy season of my life. In 2017, I found myself pretty close to 300 pounds at one point. And
Whoa.
After a kind of a weekend away from our kids, my wife and I decided to make some changes, kind of got our life back in order, spent the next year or so, year and a half, losing weight, getting healthy again, ended up dropping about 100 pounds and stuff like that. And I love my lifestyle now. I love everything that I do. I love the working out. I love just the everything I do to maintain what I did in 2017. I think we're in this golden era of information in the fitness industry. And you hear so much about the idea of progressive overload. And if you're not gaining strength, you're not gaining muscle. And I don't want to be spinning my wheels, but I'm 45 years old now. And I've reached the strength plateau. I know strength's not linear, but I've definitely probably reached a plateau. If I do try to increase lifts here and there, I start to get some 45-year-old strains, things that I'm just not necessarily willing to push or deal with, in my neck and things like that. I mix up my routine. I change my pacing. I do a lot of the things that I can, but I still don't seem to be getting stronger. I feel healthy. I still think I see positive changes in the mirror. Am I okay? Am I just spinning my wheels? Am I still gaining, even though I'm not seeing those strength gains necessarily with that plateau?
I could just tell by looking at you, you're real fit, dude. And you've been doing this for a while. You can't get stronger forever. Yeah. I mean, the reason why we talk about strength so much is because the average person will benefit. 90% of our audience will benefit from getting stronger.
Focus, especially.
But those of us who've been training forever, you can't get. I wish I could get stronger forever. If I could, I'd be bench pressing trucks by now. It doesn't work that way. So it's at this point in your life, being as consistent as you have been. You were a high level athlete at one point. Really, it's just about doing it for the sake of enjoying it and not overdoing things. It's about being It's about improving the quality of your life or maintaining a good quality of your life. I mean, think about it this way. Let me ask you this, Jason. You're 45 years old. I'm sure you have a lot of friends that are your age. If you compare yourself to your friends that don't work out, don't wash their diet and all that, how different do you look and feel, and how much different can you move? How different is your fitness than those friends of yours that don't do any of that stuff?
I feel 25. Yeah, I honestly do. Yeah. I still play sports. I still play baseball. I still play adult league baseball every weekend. I'm catching 2-3 hours a weekend, stuff like that. And it doesn't affect me physically negatively. That's what I love about just the lifestyle that I live.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, you're killing it. You know what? I mean, I think we all kind of go through this. People that have been lifting as long as all of us have, you go through this kind of like, man, I haven't gotten stronger in so long. Or in my case, I'm significantly weaker right now than I was just 10 years ago. And if I keep comparing myself to, peak strength version of me, I'm going to end up hurting myself trying to pursue that. It's like, why? Like, I don't need to deadlift more than 400 pounds. Like that doesn't mean no good to do that. Like, it's not going to move the needle any further. It's not going to make my life any better. It's not going to make me better with my kid, better with my wife. It's like, I'm already stronger, fucking 5 times stronger than the average guy. Like, what do I, you know what I'm saying? And so you have to like kind of disconnect from, what peak version of you could do in the gym compared to where you're at now, and just be like, dude, you live for something different today, and you obviously are in incredible shape and killing it. So I don't think you need to change anything whatsoever. Maybe, it sounds like have you written like your own programs? Is that what you've done yourself?
I do, just throughout the years, and I'm a home gym guy, so I waking up early in the morning changed my life. First of all, number one, that was that's the crux that made everything happen, and set up, just with a squat rack and some 1090s, adjustable dumbbells. So I've been able to do a pretty consistent PPL, a lot of the stuff that and to be fair, since I've submitted the question, a lot of the stuff, just things that you guys have brought up, listening to the podcast, just things about, changing up on your pacing. Over the summer, I'm a high school teacher, so in the summertime I'll have more time. So I'm going to do some unilateral training, things like that, just to try to switch things up. The studies that you guys have talked about, creatine, I'm a big fan of creatine, but then the studies that you guys have talked about increasing creatine and doing, a couple doses a day. I have seen changes just in the last 6 weeks, just doing that. Oh, cool. So I'm fairly competent. I'm all about the advice. I love listening to people. I'll take advice from anybody, but I have been able to more or less maintain my routines throughout the year and make some changes.
Jason, what's beneficial for someone like you is rather than chasing results, is to chase different skills. So new exercises that you haven't done in a while, learning a skill like a Turkish get up or a bent press. Or a different kind of skill that's athletic, like biking or perfecting running, whatever, yoga. Like that's a great way just to continue to enjoy your body's ability to move. I think that's one of the best ways.
I mean, I would love to hear from you. I don't know how much you've gone through all of our different programs as far as the library, knowing what we have, but I'd love for you to choose something, and I'd love to give you a program that you could follow based off of maybe either a new pursuit or something that even though you could do what you're doing and be fine, right? So I'm not telling you need to change anything. I think your plan and what you've done is incredible, but why not try something that we've written for you and see if you enjoy it.
Some inspiration, for sure.
So you got any of them that you've looked at that you were interested in?
And forgive me for not knowing the names of a lot of them, but most recently on my brain is the one about the dealing with the unilateral training, something that I would like to implement over the summertime.
Yeah, we'll send that to you.
I love
a great program.
I love you doing that. I love Symmetry too, because it's the first two phases are all unilateral, and then you get to go the final phase is bilateral, so you can test how much that improved your strength and stuff. So I would love to give you Symmetry. So let's give you that and follow that. But all in all, though, bro, what you're doing is great. You're in a great place, and Sal's advice I think is so true. Like what's kept me going all these years is I got to change the focus. I got to, whether it be a skill or a new lift or mobility goal. Like to me, what keeps guys like all of us going forever is not just focusing on just strength or just how I look for too long, because you will eventually you peak that.
You also want to feel good. Yeah.
So change it up like that. Change it up with goals, and a great way to do that is all of our programs are goal focused, and so I love to see you do something like old timey or do something unique or performance. Like we got some cool programs I think that would suit you, and having a focus for you so you don't have to think of it yourself is not a bad strategy. But we'll start you with Symmetry. I think that's a great place to go.
That'd be awesome. That'd be I would love to try it out. It's I look forward to it.
Right
Absolutely.
On. Right
got
on.
it, man.
Well, we'll send that over to you, Jason.
Okay.
All right, man.
Guys, I appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing, and everything that you do as far as sharing your faith, your lifestyle, just everything. I love it.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you very much for everything you do.
Have a good day, man.
Appreciate that.
You too. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. He's
killing it.
Playing an elite baseball league on the weekend for 2 hours, sitting, catching. You're doing good, man.
Yeah, I know. Bro, he's 100 pounds more. Had 100 pounds.
Well, he was really fit before and let himself go. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like skills because you're always learning something. And each skill offers something different, so you end up naturally balancing yourself out.
Byproduct is your body benefits.
It does.
I would be a very depressed person if I compared my top physique and top strength all the time. I mean, if you've been lifting long enough and consistent enough, at one point you're going to see the peak of those things.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then if you always compare yourself to that peak shape as whether you're successful or not, oh boy, that's going to lead to
trap.
Yeah, it's depression, injury, like just the wrong path, right? So it's
at some point too, if you're doing this and you're doing a good job, the goal is just to keep it. I mean, at some point, that's what happens. You're 45, 55, 65. You're 65 years old and you can maintain the fitness you had when you were 45. You're like badass. A champion.
Yeah, badass.
And that's possible if you do things right. So, and then after that, it gets to the point of just slowing down the decline, because inevitable happens as you age, as you get the decline. But again, the difference between you and your peers is crazy. All right, I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. How strong should you be? Ever wonder if you're actually strong, or at least compared to people like yourself? Today's episode, we're going to talk about that, and we're going to help you determine how strong you should be, and also talk about the steps to getting strong as fast as possible. In fact, we're going to talk about the fastest way to get bigger and stronger all at the same time.
I know keeps Adam up at night.
Yes, it does, actually. And I know that you wrote a really complex episode here, but I think Justin's metric has been the one